Welcome back to the 9th Gym program, and today we are continuing the restricted guide series with Solgaleo. Solgaleo is actually a really bulky Pokemon, a very solid restricted legendary with good stats all around, including its attack and speed as well as its bulk, so that's pretty good. A solid typing here at Psychic Steel, giving it 9 resistances and only 4 weaknesses. Fortunately, no quad weaknesses as well, which is great, and 1 immunity of poison, which is good. So, overall, not bad. It's a great typing for weakness policy, giving it 4 weaknesses to make it so you can definitely, self-proc or get hit and then put yourself into weakness policy range. It's a weird way of saying it, but yeah, you can activate your own weakness policy very easily on this Pokemon, which is good. Very bulky Pokemon with its HP stat at 137, defense at 107 and special defense at 89. Overall, very bulky. Special defense could even be supplemented with something like Assault Vest, so that's good. You also have max moves, access to max Quake and max Steel Spike, so you can definitely supplement its own defense with its own max moves, so that's very good. Attack at 137 is extremely good for this Pokemon, especially when you're using something like a Life Orb or weakness policy. The damage is just so good. It's very good. Speed at 97 as well is pretty competent. You can go max speed. You could also go for a non-speed investment, build there with like weakness policy or, any kind of thing, Assault Vest, and then just not go for speed as well. Unfortunately, no speed control on the Pokemon. It might have like some form of max strike, but it probably won't be used, so it's overall just very good. And then for the ability, it's very solid. It's essentially prevents other Pokemon moves or abilities lowering the stats. So it's essentially why can I not think of it? Clear Body. It's essentially Clear Body. So that's just very good. Nothing could get lowered. So you can bulldoze your own guy and then, not even lower your speed. So that's pretty good. Overall, this Pokemon is really solid, is what I'm saying. It's very good. I like it a lot. Let's talk about the builds that I have prepared. So both of the builds that I have prepared are actually both weakness policy because I just think that's really good for this Pokemon. It's essentially like a super powered Metagross, so yeah, I kind of just went the Metagross route and we just went for it. So the first one I have here is an EV spread that was calculated to make it so that even its non-Dynamaxed version really bulky, and then even especially like you Dynamax at turn 1 and then you do a lot of damage while supplementing its bulk incredibly with max Steel Spikes and max Quakes, and then when it's down back to its normal size, non-Dynamaxed, your opponent can't really ignore it because it's just going to be super damaging with weakness policy and incredibly bulky. So that's kind of the idea for Solgaleo. Then the second one is just going to be a very straightforward 252 4 spread. If you don't want to use a complicated spread, go for that. So let's start it off. Weakness policy is really good. It is customizable. You can use something like Lumberry, Life Orb, Assault Vest, a lot of different options there. So you can go for a lot of different things. But I went for weakness policy. I just think it's good, especially since you can self-proc it with 4 different kinds, and it can just get procced by opponents' weakness attacks. 4 different kinds. A lot of different typings can hit this, so that's pretty good. Full Metal Bodiness, not going to change it. You can't change it, but even if it was, it's an amazing ability. You're probably not going to change it. You can't get Intimidated, which is amazing. You can't get Worm-Winded. It's amazing. Your damage is not getting supplemented by anything other than being burned, so that's very good. As far as the EV spread, I went 140 HP, 244 attack, 116 defense, 4 special defense, and 4 speed. I think I messed up every single one of those words. 140 HP and 116 defense and 4 special defense. We'll explain those calcs a little bit better in the damage calc section, but it helps this Pokemon not die to a lot of things, even Dynamaxed, and that was actually an accident, but we'll talk about that more here in a little bit once we get to the damage calcs. But it's very good. And then 244 attack, I just wanted it to be max, and then I had to take a little away to matter for a lot of the things, and then the 4 speed was really just there so we didn't waste EVs, but it's a good place to put it because we're not wasting EVs by putting it there, so it's good. And then Adamant Nature, just wanted it to be, I wanted this guy to like do a lot of damage, and with weakness policy we were able to take out things like almost taking out Glastrier. 100% of the time it's like a 97% chance to do it, so it's very good. Sunsteel Strike, Earthquake, Wild Charge, and Protect is the move set that I went for today. Sunsteel Strike being its strongest stab move. Oh my goodness, so many S's there. The alliteration was insane. And then next we have the Earthquake as well, giving us max Quake as well, just to be able to, supplement our special defense stat. That is the weakest stat. I think it's actually the lowest of Solgaleo, so that's really good. And then Wild Charge, being able to make it so you can't get slept. A lot of Amoonguss going around, hitting things like Tapu Fini and birds, all the flying Pokemon. It's a great typing. It's great coverage. It's just a good thing for Solgaleo to have, so I enjoy it there. And then Protect, I just wanted to have a max guard slot. You could go for Trick Room or Wide Guard, but I just think, having Protect when it's normal, not Dynamaxed as well, it's just very good for this Pokemon, so I like it. Next we have Solgaleo Weakness Policy, Full Metal Body, just 4 HP, 252 attack, and 252 speed. Jolly Nature, just being as fast as possible. This could definitely be a Life Orb as well. This is more so the Metagross we've seen, just being very, very offensive and damaging. You use something like Tailwind next to it, and that's a good way to play it as well. So if you don't feel like going into like a more bulky spread, just go for speed and attack, and it's going to get the job done. It's going to get very, very far, which is good. The moveset is also identical, but we will talk about the different moves that you can go for right now. So first off, we have Rock Slide. Rock Slide's a great not stat move. It's a great coverage move. It hits both Pokemon, which is great. Can hit flinches after a couple of, if you have speed control on your team in any kind of form, Rock Slide can be amazing. Making fast Rock Slides is incredibly strong. But it could change the weather, which is really good. So being able to change the weather as a Dynamax Pokemon is obviously a plus in a format where we have Kyogre and Groudon running rampantly as well, so that's very good. Rock Slide is good. Psychic Fangs or Zen Headbutt could take that spot. Psychic Fangs being a little bit more useful now in doubles, because we have a lot of Grimmsnarl, we have a lot of Lapras going around. Even screens, Regieleki is still seeing a lot of play, so a lot of things. Psychic Fang breaking down those screens is really useful, and also its Stab, it can be a good thing for changing terrain on a max type, so that's a good attack to even have. And then we have Trick Room, which is a cool mix-up. Solgaleo is kind of mid-speed though, so as well you could have that instead of the Protect slot, and that could be good, but you'll usually only really see that on the Duskmane Necrozma, which is the Solgaleo form with Necrozma absorbed, so Trick Room could be good, but probably just an option here. And then Wide Guard, once again, a pretty solid option, in a format where we have a lot of Earthquake, we have Electro Web, we have Rock Slide going everywhere. Wide Guard's not a bad move to have right now, and I think, I like Wide Guard. I think it's good. So that covers about all of our options there. Let's talk about these synergetic Pokemon and then move on. So first off, I do have a Bulldoze Pokemon, something like Spectre or Arcanine are great options there for that. Bulldoze being able to self-proc your weakness policy while also lowering the speed of the opponent's Pokemon, which is good, and on both those Pokemon they have access to Will-O-Wisp to burn things. They're both pretty fast. You have Intimidate on the Arcanine. You can kind of pick where you want to go out of those Pokemon, and there are other options of course as well, things like Lando get Bulldoze, which also has the Intimidate, but you are doing Stab, you're doing a little bit more damage, so a couple of different options there. Spectre kind of feels like the strongest one in my opinion right now, because if you're going for like an Intimidate Arcanine Pokemon, you kind of go for the Incineroar, so I'd probably go for like a Solgaleo, Spectre, Incineroar, Tapu Fini core. That's probably the core I'd go for a Solgaleo, so that's what I would go for. Next we have some other really good Pokemon. Obviously we have Tapu Fini. Any kind of max, Dynamax sweeper that's physical loves to have Tapu Fini on its team, so your opponent can't, Will-O-Wisp or even sleep it, which is just very good to have in general. Your opponent has an Amoonguss out on the field, they go for a Spore and you switch in your Tapu Fini and you kind of just destroy their turn. So that's very good. Tapu Fini makes great for Pokemon like this. Of course, it doesn't, really have much use of Haze, but it's fine. That is a synergy that comes up a lot of the time, but you don't really want to haze your Solgaleo, probably. And then next we have Grimmsnarl for Screens. Screens just is great for a sweeper, a Dynamax sweeper like this, especially since it's incredibly bulky on its own. And then you have something like Screens coming up as well, is crazy. You also have Prankster Thunderwave for speed control, which Solgaleo lacks. You also have Fake Out, which is just good in general. So it's good. And then Incineroar, I do have one of the calcs today. One of the defensive calcs actually requires Intimidate, so having Intimidate on the team does let you live that attack, so that'll be cool. We'll talk about that more when it comes up, but yeah, Incineroar is just a basic, synergy for any Pokemon, essentially. It's just great. plays on every team. So that's about it for the builds and movesets. Let's go ahead and talk about speed tiers. So first off, Lunala, Solgaleo on the same speed tier at 163 here, base 97. Going to be a little bit slower than these 99 and base 100 Pokemon like Xerneas, Yveltal, Palkia, Volcarona, Zapdos, Salamence, Charizard, a whole bunch of Pokemon on that 100 base speed tier. Regigigas, got a whole lot of guys on that speed tier. And, being outsped by a lot of these Pokemon in that 160 to 200 range, which is very, very popular right now. Things like Nihilego, Kartana, Thundurus, with things like Garchomp, Tapu Koko, Cinderace, Dragapult, Dracovish at Scarf. A lot of Pokemon in that 200 plus range as well. Regieleki, Pheromosa, a lot of good Pokemon, all the weather guys. So those are going to be outspeeding the Solgaleo. So, just have that known when you're using Solgaleo. Know the speed tiers. It's a good thing to know. And then next you have Pokemon that it is actually outspeeding. Things like Rayquaza, Tapu Lele at that 161, Lando T, Groudon, Kyogre, Excadrill. There are a good bit of Pokemon in that 100 to 160 range. It is not nearly as popular as 160 plus, but you still are outspeeding a lot of good Pokemon, which is very, very solid. So pretty solid speed tier to be at. You want to be above that 100 base speed tier though, but it's okay, it happens. I mean, you can't change its speed tier. Anyway, that is it for the speed tiers. Let's talk about some damage calcs. So first off, the first three are going to be offensive, the second three are going to be defensive, and actually all the second three are going to be defensive non-Dynamaxed. I was wondering why I couldn't make it so this thing wouldn't die to everything, and then when I was putting them in here, I was like, oh, these are all non-Dynamaxed. So all of them are non-Dynamax calcs that are just good to know and good to have. And it shows also, it mimics, if you don't self-proc weakness policy, those will be, if you Dynamax, they'll end up being two times that amount. So it'll be like 2 hit KOs. So, them like Venusaur would be like a guaranteed 3 KO against Dynamax. So it's good to know. Anyway, let's start it off. +2 from weakness policy, 244 plus attack Solgaleo Max Quake into a 236 HP for defense Incineroar, hitting 181 to 214, which is a guaranteed OHKO, even a solid chance to OHKO if it does Dynamax. Nobody's maxing their Incineroars right now, but it is a chance that it could happen, so it's good to know that. Calc. Also, notably, it can't get intimidated by the Incineroar, so this, Solgaleo just has a crazy matchup against Incineroar. Next, we have +2, 244 plus attack Solgaleo Max Steel Spike into 244 HP, 132 defense Tapu Fini, hitting 113 to 133 guaranteed OHKO. Great calc to have here, just doing a lot of damage off of that weakness policy buffed Solgaleo. Being able to take down that Tapu Fini OHKO is very, very good. Next, we have +2 from weakness policy, attack Solgaleo, max steel spike into 252 HP, 0 defense, Dynamax Glastrier, hitting 97.5 to 114.9, which is an 87.5% chance to OHKO. Huge damage onto a Dynamax Glastrier, one of the top Pokemon in the game, one of the top sweepers in the game. Very good stuff to know. You take it right out. And now for the returning attack, we do have a 252 plus attack Life Orb Glastrier Max Quake into our 140 HP 116 non-Dynamaxed Solgaleo, hitting 84.7 to 100.4, which is only a 6.3% chance to OHKO. This is insane. I mean, this is non-Dynamax. Like, you're doing so much damage while it's just not doing that much damage in turn return to you. So, huge calc to know. That's also activating our weakness policy, which is crazy. So if you're maxed, it's doing 50%, activating your weakness policy, and you're taking the OHKO most likely. Pretty good to me. Pretty good matchup with Glastrier. Next, we have the Venusaur 252 plus special attacking Life Orb Max Quake into our 140 HP for special defense non-Dynamax Solgaleo, hitting 83.4 to 99.5, which is guaranteed to a KO. Great calc to have there. That's once again going to be a, guaranteed 3-hit KO into full HP Dynamax Solgaleo. Great calc. Good stuff. Next, we have -1 from an Intimidate. So this is the one that you need to supplement with an Incineroar. 252 attack Life Orb Lando T Max Quake with Intimidate, with Dynamax, with Life Orb into our 140 HP 116 defense Solgaleo, hitting 75 to 91.7%, which is guaranteed to a KO. Great stuff. Good stuff, great stuff. Next, we have our single spotlight. So, single spotlight for Solgaleo. I just went pretty basic on a choice band scale here. Choice band, full body, full metal body, Nothing is going to change there. You could switch out Choice Band. You could go for like a leftovers special defensive build, or like physically defensive build. A couple of different options there. And then moves, we went Sunsteel Strike and Zen Headbutt for a stab, and then Wild Charge Earthquake. Since it's going to be Choice Band, you might as well go the whole shebang and just go all in, you know what I mean? Also, it does get never mind, it doesn't get Trick. I thought it got Trick for some reason. I don't know why I thought it got Trick. Anyway, that's about it for the video today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, leave a like, comment, subscribe. Oh, I didn't even explain the moveset or the EV spread. Very hard explanation, by the way. 252 into attack and 252 plus into speed. Just making it as fast as possible while doing as much damage as possible. Great Choice Band sweeper. You can Dynamax it. You can not Dynamax it. It's a great time. If you do Dynamax it, though, you do lose the Choice Band boost. So probably not Dynamaxing. Anyway, that is it for the video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, leave a like, comment, subscribe. Makes a huge difference. YouTube. Go down to into the description and click all those links and follow them all. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great week. I hope you have a great week, and goodbye.